agenda is yin and yang energies, lifestyle suggestions, and food. We started a little late. I apologize. I'm not going to rush through, but let's do it together. Okay. Moving on. Today is our Zen story. Kind of like we talked about it, but it gives the set for the whole class today. So Suzuki Roshi, I've been listening to your lectures for years, the student said during the question and answer time following your lecture. But I just don't understand. Could you just please put it in a nutshell? Can you reduce Buddhism to one phrase? Everyone left. Suzuki left also. Everything changes, he said. Then he asked for another question. So the story is about everything changes. And that's the motive for today's class. Everything changes. When you think about it, those two words are the most, I would say, essence of our life. Look how everything changes around us, how we change, the world changed. Everything from bad to good, from good to bad, from one state to another stage. So let's look what it means. Remember last time we talked about 4 macrobiotic principles? Because the first lecture, the first class, the first idea was connecting and relating to the nature. Why? Imagine like we get stuck in a 4 wall room like we did in pandemic. How many people got into depression? How many people get into depression being in the nature? How many third world people having no conveniences in life, starving, not getting any depression? Why we having all the conveniences, modern conveniences, computer, the window to the world, TV, get depressed? We get stuck inside of the box. The nature gives us totally different outlook to life and different actually look inside in us, ourselves. So connecting, not just looking into nature, but connecting to it, becoming very important fact and factor in our life in staying healthy. And we discuss how we connect. You remember, we connect through live in tune with nature. Nature has its own tune, which is rhythm. What are those rhythms? You remember, those are 24 hours a day, the earth spinning around its imaginary axis, and the earth rotating around the sun, creating 12 months and seasons. That's how we get into rhythm. We balance the yin and yang in our diet, life, and avoid extremes of either. Because once we go into extreme situation where we exercise like crazy, or one day and another day we just lie in the bed and thinking we're relaxing, those are two extremes. We try to avoid them. One day we eat all the cakes in the world we want, and every chocolate we can get our hands on. And another day we're like, oh, forget about chocolate, we're gonna eat all the meat. Those are two extremes that hit us. We eat locally and seasonally. Why locally and seasonally? Remember, because what grows near us get all the nutrition and vitamins around this nature we live in. And if we eat that food, we really get the vitamins, minerals, and nutrition we need. Otherwise, it's all came from far away. And it's not our nature, it's somebody else's nature. And then we eat the food that's right for us. Look at us, look at all of us. We're so different. There are not two people in the class alike that we can say, okay, Julia, Tanya, and Asi, you have to eat what I eat. I'm so much older than you. Each one of you, oh my God, it's scary. But it's gonna change. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna become old. I'm not gonna get younger. Maybe in my mind, maybe in mind, my mind become younger, but not in my body. But I'm trying to keep it as long as possible, to keep the vitality in my body. So we need to understand that each one of us requires entirely different approach in diet. So if we say we're gonna eat one diet for all, It's not going to work. For some people, it's going to be great. That's why you hear all this testimonial. Look at me. I ate the diet, how healthy I became, how my body is great. But you don't hear other people that didn't happen to them. So those 4 macrobiotic principles has to be kind of like imprinted and intuitional. You know that, right? So, okay, we have all of this. And Lani knows better probably than any one of us, as far as I know, all the vibration in the world getting through you. And you live by those vibrations. They give us energy. They give us movement. They give us life. They give us life energy. Those energies, life force. And it's called Qi in Chinese, or Ki in Japanese, or Prana in Hindu. And in Russian, it's жизненная энергия. I forgot how that in Russian. Жизненная энергия.
Vital energy.
In English, vital energy.
Vital energy.
Right, in Russian, I was saying, forgot how that is in Russian. Anyways, it's all vibration, but thank you for pointing. Bioenergy.
In Russian, I think it's жизненная сила.
Oh, жизненная сила, probably. Right. This is the man that inspired a lot of people. Paramahansa Yogananda. Gosh, believe me, I tried many times to pronounce it. And every time I have to look at it. He's an amazing man, amazing. He wrote the book called Autobiography of Yogi. There's an interesting fact with that book. Steve Jobs ordered 5 copies, hard copies of his book for every guest in his memorial. Do you imagine the person dying knowing that and ordering the book that changed his life? Because it's an amazing book. So check out biography of that man, or about him, his life. He lived and he died about what, 70 years ago? But the ideas on what he does and how he affected so many people is amazing. So going finally to yin and yang forces that create the life, what are they? They really manifest in 2 particular opposite but working together forces. One is expansive, growing, extending, and another was in contracting. None of those actually errors represent exactly. It gives you the picture, the movement of those energies, because each energy is spiral. It's not actually straight lines, it's spiral. But it actually created everything what life is about. Everything living, breathing, existing, growing, anything in the solar system is by those 2 energies. How that happens? Because we're part of the solar system. Look at that huge ball of fire, which is the sun, and us, tiny little speck in the universe, all exchanging energies between each other, creating those vibration, directions, and movement. And here we are thinking, hey, if we do whatever we want, if we live whatever we want, it doesn't matter. No, it matters. We're part of that universe. We're part of that solar system. If we go against it, not along with the rhythm, with those energies, we create sickness. We create problem. None of even the mental sickness are the part of our personal mental development. It's all a part of the connecting to nature. So everything is yin and yang. Look at the pictures. Let me see if I can do, you know what? Pointer options. Maybe you can do it. We can do it laser point. Is laser pointer better? Yeah, okay. So look at the top picture. Businesses up and down, right, Julia? It's happening when you're in business. Look at the waves, crest and trough and crest, yin and yang. Look at the yoga. Yoga is the best exercise. Why? Because in one pose, you have contracted on the back and expanded the front two energies together. And look at those two people working so hard in gym. And I know some people right now in the class, like, I'm gonna nail that down. I'm gonna make even, it's more, it's weight, gonna be even more weight, but it's all contracting. So don't forget to stretch, which is stretching, right? Contracting and expanding. Look at the nature in a hot climate, expanding, being yin, expanding. And in a cold climate, contracting. That's how nature and planet Earth balancing each other. Look at the tree. The upper part is growing, expanding. The lower part, roots, are contracting, going down. So imagine people sitting in the remote villages of China, who knows where, not having a single tool to peek into the universe, created the whole idea of how a universe functioning. And here what they look at, just a hill on the sunny side, warmer, brighter, drier, harder, more active. Look at the left side, cooler, darker, more moist, softer, more pressure. Look at the bottom of that picture, our planet Earth, consisting of continent, which is hard, and water, which is yin, right? And here we are, tiny little speck by Great Lakes. So it's amazing how people drew the whole picture of the universe of yin and yang energies. They're spiral. We're going to present them with straight arrows just for you to have the idea how they work. So our goal to apply those two energies for nutrition and lifestyle, it's important to understand that yin is expanding, right? You got it, spiral expanding, going up from the planet Earth. Yang energy is contracting, going from sun. How we know that? 5,000 years of Chinese watching, using, and applying it to life prove that they're right. They know something about it. And besides Chinese, how many other Asian nations and ancient, actually, cultures knew that? All of them. Look at this picture. Isn't it funny picture? I took it from Michio Kushi book. You find it on internet everywhere. Look at a man charged by solar energy from universe. Their mind is out there, right? They must be more romantic. Their feet are not on planet Earth. They have all those crazy ideas because they charge from that energy from above going to Earth. Women are charged by Earth energy because they bear a child. They need to think actually kind of like about life and how to preserve it, right? So I'll look at the sex organs. Why men organs is this and women is different? Because we charge by different energies. Those energies going through the center of our body, charging those basic major points called chakras or energy points that distribute energy through the body called meridians. That's what meridians are, charging itself and going through those charging points. So moving forward, so what are yin and yang? So they are depicted in that symbol, yin and yang Chinese symbol. So on the darker side, yin side, we call it negative, feminine, passive, intuitive, dark, night, cold, soft, slow, moon. Look at the right side, totally opposite what's on the left side. Now, I want you to understand negative with positive, it's not like good or bad. Like, don't add moral values to it or ethical values to it because it's all subjective. It's more like protein, like protons, positive, and electrons, negatives, like those particles, right? More like maybe attitude to life, toward life, being more preserved and more charging forward, more masculine, active, logical, light, day, hard, hot, hard, fast, and sun. Interesting, Jane Fonda was really connected to Eastern philosophy, said, we're not meant to be perfect, we're meant to be whole. all together. One point in time, one is prevailing over the other. So characteristics of opposite yet complementary forces. And there are yang, contractive, and yin, expansive forces. Interesting that if you look down extremes to extremes, the very salty and meats are very extreme contractive. They charge with a lot of energy. So if you become really hard meat eater, of course, in the very beginning, your body starts contracting and you're losing fat. It's totally true. It's totally follow that philosophy. The only problem is causing contracting all the organs. One of them is heart. And you may get a horrible and terrible heart condition by getting all the contracted food. Look at the other side, fresh or raw foods. Again, it's the opposite of contracting foods, right? Tropical foods, sugars, and chemicals. Again, at some point in time, it may release stresses. Like, I'm so stressed, I want to eat ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. Yes, it releases some stresses. Why? It's creamy, dairy, sugary. It releases, so it's expensive. It lets the stresses out. You ate it once, stop it. Because if you're going to continue every time you're under stress, or maybe not even under stress, just thinking, oh, let's eat ice cream. You know, we watched the show, I did it some time ago, Golden Girls, I believe it's called. Remember, like at night, they get together in the kitchen and one of them said, oh, do we have ice cream or cheesecake? So they release their stresses by eating it. And you would think, look at them. They all look great at their age. Maybe I should eat ice cream and cheesecakes. Believe me, they don't eat that stuff. It's a TV show. Don't follow them. Because you do more of this, another organ that's going to fail, your kidneys, almost immediately, because kidneys cannot, or liver cannot take sugars. So everything has its price. So basically, let's say it's summer, right? The energy is contractive, hot, contracted energy coming from sun. Sun is dominating, contracting us. So if we eat fruits, which are more relaxing, expensive, right? So we create balance. We don't eat it every day, every moment in life, but in general, we eat more of this stuff. They create it specifically. They grow in summer. They ripen in summertime. Why? To create balance with hot climate. But now let's imagine right now, not in a deep winter, we're getting into actually spring, expensive energy. Energy started actually wintertime is out. Going into spring, it's going to be a little bit less yin, but still, it's still yin. If we add well-cooked, grilled meat, we create, which is contracting, we create balance. You guys see it? I hope you do. What if it's the other way around? What if we add meats to it? Once in a while, that's fine. Of course, we want something grounded and something more for vitality. But if we do it often and really a lot, we create the imbalance. Now imagine 4th of July. We love 4th of July, right? Hot day, barbecue, 12 o'clock, midday, the hottest time of the day, the hottest season, the hottest part of the season, 4th of July. We have a lot of meat. What do you want to do after you ate barbecue? Of course, you want to wine with it, right? Because it's expensive. It makes you kind of like think you're balancing. Ice cream, lots of fruits, lots of cold, sugary product. And you're surprised you kids want a sugar after that 4th of July? Okay, you do it once. Okay, it's like a tradition. I understand, I get it, right? But be sensitive about it because it's not helping health. And of course, it's in the winter. You're like, oh, I wanted that tropical fruit. I got the best, the best. You tell people around kiwi. What else is there tropical? I forgot. By the way, bananas. I want bananas. Bananas the best because they have lots of vitamins. And winter, there's no vitamins. Where do you get vitamins? Where do you get vitamins in banana in the winter? Where? Bananas been like brought here being green. They had no vitamins. They grew in an entirely different climate. So what you do, in fact, you create total imbalance. Give the kid, a young kid whose immune system is not strong yet, a banana. In 3 days, they start sneezing and coughing. And you're like, oh, what did you do? You sneezed and coughed. No, the body trying to get rid of that stuff by itself while immune system is still working. At some point in time, it doesn't work. It doesn't even get rid of it. So food can bring the extreme conditions back to balance. How it does, if you're very tired and stressed, and not able to relax, you eat balanced food based on whole grains, vegetables, fruits. Balanced diet is better rather than salty meats. And sometimes you go through incredible stresses in your life. And you think that if you eat the food that you love, and sometimes cured meats or sausages, you remember from your childhood something, or ethnic food that your grandma cooked in a special circumstances, and you think that's going to bring relaxation, maybe mentally, but not really physically, believe me. Or someone is too spacey and forgetful and then eat more juices and fruits because I'm from California, moved to Chicago. We used to raw food. We used to juices. I'm going to continue doing it. No, whole grains, fish rather than sugar and juices. Understand those little things. You can balance from one condition to another condition. So let me show you. It's a little like, extreme, but look at this man, right? Look how he is stressed. So he is very contracted. So give him a steak because he goes to the places where they serve the best steak. And there's, look at the vegetable. I love the vegetable side of the steak. Isn't it funny? Besides that steak, it takes for every ounces of meat, 42 ounces of water to balance, not to even balance it out, to help to process without digestion. That's why restaurants promote a lot of drinking with that, right? Look at this girl. She's spaced out. She's like, what? What are you talking about? I have no idea. And she drinks every day juices and eats fruits and thinks, oh, I got my vitamins. I got everything. That man needs balanced food. He needs soup. But how are you going to tell the man you need mushroom barley soup? He's probably going to say, what? She needs root vegetables, well cooked, to get her more rooted, to get her back on the ground. She's not on the ground yet. So none of this food is going to help those people. Let me ask you a question. It's a little political, but it's not actually when you think about it. Do you think how many vegetarian, vegan people stormed the Capitol? I'm just curious. Do you think any one of them were part of storming Capitol saying, yes, let's go, we're gonna make it happen? I don't think so.
There is one who needs organic food in jail, so
That's great. Yeah, I want organic food. That's good. He wants organic meats, by the way, I'm sure. So those foods are the part of the life that we can create for better. So make sure you understand those things a little better. So we have 4 seasons. Those 4 seasons change. How they change? We have those spring, summer, late summer, fall. Within 3 months, there are 2 special seasons, one of them Chinese. Remember, we discussed it last time. It lasts only 1 month from September 21st to October 21st and called Indian summer in America, or Babi Leta in Russian, right? Remember? So the food is different. So what's grow in springtime? Tiny little green stuff. You go on the market, when market opens up, you cannot even buy anything. Look at all the stuff. Then when we drink those juices, wheatgrass juices, right? Those vegetable juices, green juices are very helpful. It helps our liver to cleanse. That's the cleansing. What cleansing happens when we eat the right food in the right season? It's always cleansing itself. You don't have to do those 2 weeks expensive spa cleansing. Don't waste your money there, because coming back, you're going to get all the toxins back again if you're not doing it the right way. Look at the summer. More vegetables, more opportunities, more selection. Look at the late summer or the fall. Look at those pumpkins or any squashes. They're more rounded. They're unearthed. They live sitting in the soil. They're rounded. They're balancing us with the season. And the winter time, we do all the salty pickled food that Lani does so well. I told you last time, she's doing it, and I'm still having some of this, but I'm getting out, Lani, so you better be prepared for my next order. Wonderful, organic, beautiful, with love, made by Lani, no preserves. So the same changes throughout the day for breakfast, lunch, afternoon, night. So breakfast, we have substantial breakfast with some stuff that gives us energy. We discussed it last time with circadian clock. Some sensible food for lunch, very little afternoon, just to balance out the energies that going down. We want to pick it up. You remember English tea? Maybe a little bit of cookie, a small cookie is fine, but no sugar, please, no sugar product. And at night, no food. Let's body relax and cleanse itself through the night. So no food at night. So the foods are defined through being contractive or expensive compared to each other and in general. So let me ask you, what are you preparing for dinner? Anybody can share. You can unmute yourself and telling us pretty quickly what dinner. Julia, what are you cooking for dinner?
Well, I have a vegetarian in the house right now and some meat eaters. So first time I'm gonna try to make jackfruit, like tacos.
Okay.
And then brown rice and miso soup.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make some vegetables. I have some cauliflower, so I'll make that. And some cilantro rice.
Yeah, and some pickled. Don't forget sauerkraut, pickled, some fermented for your gut for your gut area, for your intestine. You need fermented food. Make sure it's pickled in salt, not in vinegar or sugar. Very rare in vinegar, try not to, especially like apple cider, it's too fruity. There is a special vinegar called umeboshi vinegar. It's not real vinegar. It's oh, Julie, you have it? So it's a special, yes, Eden food. Yeah, mitoku, even better. Umeboshi vinegar, it's not real vinegar. And it's a great thing, greatest. It's the most alkalining product in the world, but umeboshi by itself, we're going to talk about it. But the thing you watching is definitely sodium content, because the more salt there, the more contractive you become. How you know that? Because you eat salty food. All of a sudden you start yelling at your husband and your kids. Everybody irritates you. Everybody's wrong around you. You're the only one who is right. Everybody moves slowly. Why don't they move faster? What they doing? The car in front of you, you hit the car in front of you, and that's their fault. And all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, why am I yelling? Why am I screaming? Too much salt. And promise, like put your right hand up and promise me from now on, if you want to be healthy, you never, ever, ever, no matter what quality of salt is, gonna have salt on the table. And use salt putting on the food. Is the worst thing to your health, the worst. The salt is not a condiment, it's a seasoning. It has to go during preparation of the food in the heat. It has to be heated up. You have to cook with salt. No salt on the table. What do you do if not salty enough for you? What do you use? You use soy sauce. Soy sauce, a little bit sprinkle, or there's a thing called gamascio. It's a salt, actually cooked with not cooked, fried, with the sesame seeds and crushed. Then you put a little bit on the meal you eat. Never ever real salt. Please don't, because it's really destroying your health. Among food that you consider expensive food, like look at a watermelon. It's a fruit. Can you compare that watermelon with an apple or berry, like a blueberry, tiny little, even smaller than that black seed within the watermelon? So can you imagine if you eat even one slice of watermelon, that how much of berries that's actually in it? And some people, and me included, in a hot summer day, you wanted that sweet watermelon, right? Because it cools you off. So be aware of hidden extreme content of the food. And then some people complain they cannot lose weight. They start being like really gaining weight. It's the food you eat and how, and other conditions in life, of course, and other things we're going to discuss during lifestyle. But the food plays an important role. Among nuts, there are special nuts like Brazil nuts. They are tropical nuts. They are created to make you a really, it's a lot of fat in it, by the way, hidden, and they're expensive. They're really, really good for the climates like tropical, but we're not in tropical climate. We don't live there. If we are there, yes, in Brazil, right? Yeah, in Brazil, not like Brazil nuts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you eat enough to satisfy your need in the nuts, because you may need like 6 of them a week, right? Our nuts are pecan nuts, are walnuts, are almonds, and in certain age, you wanted them either lightly roasted or cooked, so it's easier on intestines. Pine nuts, beautiful, right? Again, everything in moderation. Look at the grains, buckwheat, so intense, so little grain, full of nutrients, compared to barley, full of nutrients, but barley is larger. Barley is expensive. When you cook barley, it's becoming even larger, opens up. When you cook buckwheat, it doesn't open up much. It's still little grain. So they have different effects. So sometimes when you talk to me or Natasha Volodin, she's right there, my partner in Microbiotic Center, and we tell people, you need, the springtime is coming, you need to eat more barley instead of brown rice. Like brown rice is great for vitality and energy, but barley is amazing grain for liver. It opens up and clears liver. And the great thing about barley, you make barley, and then the leftovers soup, barley mushroom soup, barley stews with vegetables. It's amazing, great. And it beautifies your skin. It's used in Asia for beauty products, and food made of barley is great for skin. Again, not 3 times a day, every day, every day of the year, 365. No, 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 no. You just do it sensibly, right? Okay, moving along. So how do we know which is which? Follow that chart. Like, look at that chart. The chart is giving us directions like our compass. So everything on the left, you see, from alcohol to chemicals, are yin, up to local fruits and nuts. Even potato and tomato, very yin. Depending how you cook it, if you use tomato for paste, you may convert it into a little bit younger state, or you can use potato with herring, which is very salty. You can kind of like, very rarely, you can balance it. But rather than that, everything is very yin. We still use it. I'm not telling you, never alcohol ever in your life. Of course, we need a glass of wine. Well, I don't drink wine anymore. And I don't even enjoy, I don't know if you guys do, but be sensitive about it, because any wine has, can you imagine how much fruit went to make wine? Even though it's fermented, it's not real sugar anymore, but it is. Think about it. Everything on the right is a very, very young products. Again, a little bit, we use salt. There's no life without salt. Salt is a mineral, it's balancing everything in what we eat. And mineral require oil, otherwise mineral is not going to be digested well in our body. So we use oils, plant-based oils, of course, not butter, and minerals like salt have to be. That's why it's funniest thing. French fries, potatoes, French fries, very, very oily and salty, right? The idea is correct. The implementation, the process is wrong. And maybe if you do homemade fries, it's entirely different story. And you can have it once in a while, maybe red potato, because red potato is not really potato, it's a root. So think about it very carefully. So in the middle, yes, open up. You think it's not enough? Oh my God, I'm going to show you how much of that stuff you can have. So yin, what yin does, what yin is good for: satisfies thirst, cleanses body, and cools us down. So if we go on cleansing, we do more of vegetables, right? More of fruits, depending on the season, remember, based on the season. But we eat lighter food, lighter, not chemicals, not butter, oil, not tropical food, please not, local. Maybe not nuts much, because they're really cluttering our bodies, but it satisfies thirst. When we're thirsty, sometimes we pick a fruit. Maybe we'll just drink a little bit of water or a little bit of tea instead of picking up food. Think about it. But interesting thing, if it's too much, too strong, like honey, spices all the time, sugar, coffee, and for too long, what it does irreparable damage to our body, lowers our metabolism. Now, it's really expanding our weight out of control and weakens our body, make it really weak, extremely weak and susceptible to all sorts of problems. What was yang food? Let's check it out. Makes our body stronger, warms us up. Think about it. When you go further north, of course, the population moves around a lot. And now you can see people from Africa living in Sweden and totally changing the places where they were born. But if you move north, you're going to see much stronger body, much stronger constitution. People in Russia and Siberia, look at their ears. They're huge, because ears actually shows you your constitution. You see yourself in the mirror or on the Zoom. If your ear lobe, like hanging or attached, what do you think? Check it out. If it's hanging and kind of thick, you have a strong constitution, like Buddha showing with long, long lobes up to shoulder. But if yours, bigger ear, right ear is the size of your kidney, left ear is the size of your left kidney. And this earlobe tells you about nothing you can do about it. You're born with that constitution, but knowing and understanding it, you can balance your constitution with creating a condition. So if you are not the strongest constitution, every time you have a problem, you feel it. You're like, oh, I'm so tired today. Oh, I'm so kind of like, don't feel. And another person said, how come? Like you have like 5 kids, or let's put it like 5 kids by 5 seasons. And a different season, different kid feeling differently. And like, look at your brothers and sisters. They're all fine. You're going to be fine. Do it. No. Look at the constitution of that kid. Look at the months they were born. You want to know your weakest organ from the birth? It just happened constitutionally just because you were born on that month. Let's take any month of the year. Anybody gonna try your body, giving it to a test? Tell me the month you were born. I can tell you your weakest organ.
April.
April. And April, beginning of April?
First half.
First half. So you were in the womb of your mother for 9 months, but the year is 12 months, right? So you were born in the April, so it's like middle of spring. The spring is associated with the liver gallbladder. You didn't live through the whole spring month in the womb, and you didn't go through the whole summer. So your weakest organ going to be liver and gallbladder, the birth, because they're associated with spring.
Interesting.
Yeah, you have to watch for it more than any other. And that happened, that not knowing and intuitively doing the right thing, it's fine. But if not, my birthday is March 30th, the same as, I'm very close to you, Tanya. My weakest organ is liver. That some people know I had the biggest problem was my liver problem because I ate a lot of spicy food. I was really pushing myself so hard in life and stresses without regard that my liver gonna survive. Why? Because my earlobe is huge. I don't feel pain like many people. I don't feel problems early until it's hit me in the head. When some people with much more fragile constitution. So listen to your kids, to your relatives, to your friends who complain. And we're going to learn more on diagnosis at the last class, going to be 8th class, how to diagnose yourself and people that you love and want to kind of like help with health and understand better what's happening to them. But the most important thing is to know that going through food choices and your lifestyle choices can make you stronger or can make you weaker. So young food makes blood stronger and warms you up. But if you eat a lot of those meat and hard cheeses, there are few people who attending the class and send me the survey I asked to identify their problems so I can focus on their problems during the presentation and point. A lot of people, not a lot, sorry, a few people wrote down that they have problems with the reproductive organs. I can guarantee it's caused by young food, too much hard cheeses, too much. Maybe you should stop altogether doing that. People with breast cancers, make sure no dairy products whatsoever, none. they're creating many problems for you. So too much, too strong, too long, creating a lot of problems in the body, contracting, making your organs contracted, induces constant thirst. I'm constantly thirsty. Hot flashes. What do you think hot flashes coming from? You think it's because your body changes a certain age? I didn't go through hot flashes at all when my body changed because of macrobiotic.
Ella, there is a question in the chat box. Is somewhere a chart with birth months organs to check my family members' health?
Yes, let me write down. I can do it. Monthly, okay, organs. I can find for you special organs last month. Okay, so what you do, I just want to tell you, every pair of organ associates with the season. If you were out of mother's womb in that season, that organ that you didn't go through for the whole season inside is the weakest by birth. Doesn't mean you destroy other organs later, that happens also, but from the birth, and especially when you have newborn in the family, you have to watch. You know, it's interesting thing in Asian culture. Have you ever been to Korean restaurants or families you eat together? It rarely happens you eat together with Korean families, maybe Korean restaurants more kind of like happening event. If you go to Korean restaurants and order traditional Korean food, what are you gonna get? Lots of tiny little plates, right? With food. Why? Because you can pick the ones that satisfies and balances your condition. Nobody giving you a plate with all the food already on it. Look how we feed people in the family. Especially horrible thing happened, which is good for family that live together, generations living together. There are old people, there are mid-aged people, and there are very young people living all together, eating together the same food, which is absolutely wrong. Each one of those people need entirely different set of foods. You don't cook differently, but maybe proportions, or maybe cooking styles. We're going to talk about it as well. You need to understand that those need to be actually adjusted. I'm going to move a little bit faster because we need to break. Otherwise, this is what happens. You find a family member yourself at night by a refrigerator. Look at the door, all the extreme products like eggs, milk, bananas. Of course, he is in extreme situation. Not that I choose specifically that picture, but I like the guy's eyes. Like, oh my God, my wife caught me. Anyways, steady diet foods in the middle gonna help you and prevent many illnesses. Stay in health and keep both forces in balance. Otherwise, you're out of balance, guys. So expensive foods are all the green leafy and vegetables. And Julia, you're cooking cauliflower, so it's expensive food. It's growing up and energy going up. It's cooling. It's light, right? And it's helped the spiritual development a lot. Your young contracted food, root foods, round food, are helping to create the purposefulness and focused work and strong bodies. So here's for you the ruler that you use, your compass. Everything that grows above the surface of the earth, of soil, is yin. Imagine the fruit that grows even upper. So further you from the surface, the more yin it is. Everything that grows below the surface, below, is all more yang, depending, round, more balanced. The longer, it's like you're buying carrots. There are smaller carrots, there are very young, long carrots. Long carrots are more young, smaller, expensive, rounded carrots, more yin. So don't worry about it. You know that grow below, above, or right in the middle. That's more important. So those are examples of yin and yang. Amazing food is right here. Do you see my highlighter? It's right in here. It's burdock. See, it's here. You see it? Now it's here. Burdock root grows, I don't know how many feet, like 20 feet down to earth. And you need a machine to get it out. And the farm here in Peoria, Henry Farms, buy everything in the market in Evanston, here around Chicago area. He does it with the help of people, helpers. He said everybody works on his farm, including the dog, and not one, but many dogs, and kids and family and volunteers. And I was on his farm when Natasha and I went there. It's an amazing place. If you guys interested, let me know. You can sign up for his emails, and they're wonderful. And if you're around the area and local, buy his product on the Evanston Farmers Market. Oh my God, it's the best. This root is actually like a meat for vegetarians because it brings so much vitality and in your body. And it's actually good for men. I don't know how many men we have right now in the class, but it's really good for men. Strength, all that balance thing you see here, it's rounded. They're most balanced, the most rounded, considered sweet. Even onions, you would think they're pungent. They're not. They're sweet, considered being sweet. And look at the carrot and what they're, I don't see it. Let me just move stuff around. And leek, yeah, upper portion is yin, lower is yang. Even colors going from yin to yang in the rainbow. So I remember when I became macrobiotic, that was 20 something years ago, and Julia remember that, I had red BMW. And I remember when I had a consultation with Mitchell, he said, just interesting, what kind of car you drive? I said, BMW red. And he said, what color? I said, red. He said, you're so young. You need to finally relax. Get something larger, something lighter, something slower moving. So yes, tells you a lot about people, that less stressful people were more like, more, I would say, colors of green, or earthy colors. I see Lani wears her, I know Lani loves pink. Everything on Lani is pink always. This is yin and yang in taste. We have different tastes. They're either yin or yang. Look at pungent, sour, sweet, salty, and bitter. All the actually, I would say, green stuff that we use, like parsley, cilantro, dandelion, they're bitter taste, and green mustard greens, they're more like pungent, bitter. Look at the salty, sweet, balancing. This is what balances up. This is what makes us relax. Sweet should come from sweet vegetables, right? Or sweet grains, like brown rice syrup, sweet. Look at the sour taste, sauerkraut, lemon, and pungent. We always add those 5 tastes in every meal, a little bit. Maybe instead of ginger, we add maybe garlic. They're pungent, right? Young garlic is coming up. Ramps. I'm waiting until snow is gone. Ramps going to be there. I'm ramping. I'm doing ramps. Actually, pesto. It's an amazing thing. Last time I did so many. I gave people. This time I'm not giving away. I'm teaching you how to do it because it wasn't enough for me. Didn't have enough myself. So cooking methods, and we're done with the first part. You need to remember, if you still have microwave, I don't have microwave now for about 30 years and I never missed it. You can eat room temperature food, which is fine, but cooking, shouldn't be done in microwave. Extremely yin. You surprise, you warm everything up in microwave, and then you surprise how weak you feel. Don't be surprised. You take frozen food, even if you freeze it, not commercially frozen, maybe you did it, and you warm it up in microwave. I'm gonna tell you, you had no energy whatsoever. Or contractive, you bake everything. You put everything in the oven, you have a contractive energy. Here is the more balancing, moderate. Remember Chinese wok, one of the best thing? Yeah, but you can use variety. And the best variety is my favorite book by Christina Turner. It was funny. It's funny. On Amazon, I bought it for 1 cent. It's gone now. It's, I think, 20 bucks now, but it was 21 cents. I bought like 20 of them and gave away. Natasha and I used to have classes at the Macrobiotic Center. We were giving them away like crazy. So her book is so down to earth, so simple, so easy to read. Yin and Yang chapter there is beautifully, beautifully done. So summer style cooking and winter style cooking different. So we're in winter, slow cooking, warming up food. Nothing cool, never ever. You remember one thing I asked you to raise your right hand and tell me you promise on Christina Turner book, you never use salt on the table. You need to promise to yourself, not to me, to yourself, never use water with ice, ever. You're killing your kidneys, guys. Never, never use water during the food eating, ever. It's the worst thing. But with ice, it's killing your kidneys. Never cool cold drinks, ever. Please, especially when you eat food. So, who you think most yin? Top row, bottom row, middle row? What do you think, Tanya? More yin people. Bottom row, right? More yin. Look at them relaxed. You don't want them to come to work like that because they want to what? Project? What project? What do I do? Oh. You don't want people on the top being like your close friend. What? What are you crying about? What? Are you sick? Go, go, work. Look at them. They have their hands folded on their chest. They're ready. They're protecting. They're aggressive. They're moving. They're all smiling. But look, people in the middle. Yeah, I can go either direction. I'm the most balanced. So the companies love that not casual, not business, but business casual attitude and look. We can go one day, one moment, go and get it. And another moment, we know how to relax, how to be ourselves. That's the most important thing. Don't go extremes. Now, I love people in the bottom. Don't get me wrong. They hug, they love you. You want to be around them. But the whole life, it's going to be maybe. I've never been around those people like that all my whole life, but I don't know. So, any questions? So this is yin. These people are very young. This is the most balanced people, right? We know that. Tea break. Finally, we have our yin moment. What we're gonna do? You guys can grab a drink, water, or a cup of tea. Ask questions. I'm on. I'm open. I see the chats. If you want to chat, I see 5 chats right there. I see that. Okay. Oh, Autobiography of Yogi. Thank you for posting it. It's beautiful. It's a great book. If you read about the guy first before you order the book, but I'm telling you, it's an amazing thing that I open up for you. Okay, so we're gonna catch the breath. Anybody want to say something, please do say something. So I'm not
Ella,
going.
Ella, what are you gonna be cooking?
What I'm cooking nabe tonight.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Like a seafood?
it's I'm making like fish nabe. It doesn't have to be. It could be vegetarian for vegans. Or I'm using wheat or pasta, udon, I explained, but it could be rice pasta for gluten-free, or none of them, who likes more of grain like quinoa, or could be brown rice. But it's a beautiful dish. One of the very famous Russian producer was in America, and I hosted him. He visited me, and I made the nabe. I thought I'm gonna kind of like surprise him with that dish. He happened to be in Japan 7 times, he said. He eat nabe there almost every other day. But he said my nabe was the best. So I think he was a nice person, actually. I don't think it was the best. But I pride myself in actually having nabe. So
Ella, how about this question? What about yogurt?
oh, okay.
Because the question is from Anu. Hi, Anu. What
Mhm.
about having yogurt, Indian Reda, along with food? It's had in India generally, but all the year round, some food has to have a yogurt.
No yogurt. Sorry. Well, there's a place for everything, right? When you're in a high mountain, when you are in a tropical climate, you need mucus. You really need mucus for your intestines. Really very heavy, because sanitary conditions, air and climate being a little too hot, and bacteria is dying there before they're being developed. Yes, you need yogurt. We don't need yogurt whatsoever. It creates mucus in our body in the temperate climates. None of them, no. It's very well-known theory back in Russia, where dairy products and yogurts, is a Russian famous yogurt, or soft cheeses, people eat in Caucasus Mountain and live 120, 150 years. Yes, if you live there, because of air, of how air is, and how the climate is, and the whole thing. And you need to preserve your lungs, because it's so hard to breathe there. Yes, you should have it. That's why they have it in those countries, in those climates. We're in a different climate whatsoever. We're polluted. Look at the city of Chicago. You need bacteria in your gut. Fermented food, fermented. Sauerkraut.
Ella, there is a request, and I will add a little bit to it as well from me. The question about the name of the root, the one you said is good for man. If you can just put it in the chat, yeah, the spelling. But
Yes.
also you mentioned the vinegar that is not a vinegar. So if you can put a name in the chat.
Oh, guys, burdock root right now in the full bloom. So it's sold through Whole Foods, and it has no taste, no smell. But I have the recipe for it on the website called Kinpira. You can check it out on Google. It's everywhere on my site, and I put it here for you to check it. Elizabeth's recipes, check recipe there. I actually was thinking of making it's in a cooking class one day, because this is burdock root is giving energy and vitality, and man impotence gone. They're strong. And what else they asked?
This vinegar that is not a vinegar that Julia was showing us, but it wasn't very clear on the screen. So.
Yeah. Umeboshi vinegar.
Great. And by now, probably everybody knows how to save the chat, but in case you haven't done it yet, at the very end of the chat box where you see everyone, and then to the right of it, there are 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, it gives you an option of saving chat. So you can keep saving chat right into your computer and with all the information.
What a wonderful co-host they have. Wow.
I'm telling you, I live on Zoom.
Oh, I almost had a moderator when I done Zoom, but it's a beautiful thing to have you guys. Okay, so we should continue with the next section. Anybody needs more break? You just listen to it because we need to move along. And I know that Natasha Volodin, are you there? Let me see.
No, yes, I have to go downstairs though. Let me go downstairs.
Okay. So in about 10 minutes, we're gonna do an amazing thing with Natasha called Meridian Stretches. Remember, I asked you to wear loose clothes. You can watch her because the picture is in the presentation. Repeat it yourself later. You can just watch Natasha doing it. I wanted to do it, but then I thought, oh my God, I'm not that good. And I don't want to leave an impression that I'm good at everything. I'm not. So we guys moving along, right?
Ellie, expecting yourself to be perfect, is it yang or yin?
Yang. It's very yang. It's very yang. And expecting yourself failing all the time, very yin. Oh, it's always happened to me. Why is it happening to me? Oh, I'm so clumsy. Oh, I'm breaking everything. Look at me. Oh, I touched that and gone. Yin, yin, yin. You know how diagnoses happen, right? You stay and sit around or meet a Chinese specialist or macrobiotic specialist. They look how you walk, how you talk. They ask you simple questions, and all those questions, not that simple as you think. They want you to talk, and they see how you talk. If your talk is mechanical, you have emotions, like I have strong emotions when I talk because I feel so strongly about what I'm talking. And I feel like I'm going to help you guys so much. So, like Julia said, take a breath, relax. We're with you. We're going to be fine. Okay. Let me move along. For some reason, I cannot. Okay, moving to lifestyle. Interesting thing that creative life balance is the key to health and happiness. It's everything in moderation, but it's so hard, guys. I've done that and I couldn't actually keep everything in moderation. One day you're agitated, another one you're so tired. Another day things happen to you and they're great and others not. So every single moment being like, oh, okay, it's not possible. But combining this all together, we need to go back to normal, happy life. We're watching pictures of other people thinking, oh, they're happy. They're not all the time happy. Remember, everything changes. Remember that. So from the first class, we talked about keeping it simple and consistent. Always do breathing meditation. The previous presentation is in the group. You can always check it out. Use that breathing meditation. I know I've done it tons of times and I do it all the time. It's only like 6-7 minutes. It's so easy. Do a relaxation meditation at night. I have to be honest with you. I finally found mine, but it took me maybe years and trying so many different before I found what's mine and what helps me. We're gonna do Meridian Stretches. The Do-In is a Japanese yoga, which is great to do it anytime. While we're sitting, we're doing like moving energy, healing ourselves, doing this, moving energy, walking every day, right? We walk. Yoga, at least a few times a week. And Natasha is the master of it. She does it twice a week. If you can join the class, it's at startmacro.com outside. Join for just seeing that. She does it purely from macrobiotic point of view. There is no keeping those poses and getting into pose. There's nothing like that, because yoga is all about breathing, and she'll tell you more about it. But try Wednesday 8 to 9 and Sunday 9 to 10. I think you're going to be happy. If not, then sorry. Strengths core, we're going to have Tanya March 11th. She's going to show us how she does it and what strengths core means. Zumba, we're going to have Zumba Goddess, who is Dorota. And she's going to get us into it and explain and show us. Oh my God, watching her is like amazing thing. You're going to get really excited and relaxed. Muscle stretches, extremely important. Don't forget to do it. Tanya has it on YouTube. I started doing it at the end of the day. Going to help you a lot. So moving forward very quickly. So this is anatomy of our human body. This is what the organs inside. We always think that if something wrong with us, they're organs. We're gonna actually watch the organs. Organs, something wrong with organs. But in a way, it's not. We charge by energies. Those energies going through pathways called meridians. Those meridians can get blocked. And the energies are not passing to right organ, not bringing the right energy, or not bringing energy at all, or too much or too little. And then the organs fail. Those energies are all over our bodies. We're not going to go into it. No matter how many times I look at a picture, I try to remember, you never really remember. No matter how many times Natasha and I, we talked about it during her class, she pointing which finger, which toe is what energy channel. It's hard to remember that. You need to remember one thing. If you stretch properly and you stretch the right way, all the meridians are going to get stretched. So body meridians transporting life energy, chi, ki, throughout the body. And it's important to have the transportation channels clear, because sometimes it's not the organ that is failing. The energy cannot get there. So you know that what acupuncture is? Yes, opening those energy channels, opening them up or closing at some point where it's transporting too much energy. And it's for centuries been done in Japan, China, Tibet, India, so many other countries. And transporting those vibration and energy is important. There's a link on the bottom. You can read more about it. But important things, those are meridian stretches. And I am showing Natasha